Am I audible?
Both audible and visible.
Both audible. Good afternoon, everybody. I welcome you to this program, web online education program organized by the City of Health Sciences. On behalf of the, I welcome and Dr. M.K. Sudarshan. I request our Honorable Vice Chancellor to kindly provide his opening remarks.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are now here today with yet another program, a CME program for the doctors, the frontline workers, and healthcare workers. And in this connection, we have today Dr. Lokesh Alahari, our sub-regional team leader, Karnataka, from National Public Health Surveillance Project, who will be talking to us about the all about phase 3 of COVID-19 vaccination in Karnataka. All of you are aware that vaccination was started in Karnataka with initially prioritized for the healthcare workers and frontline workers, and then second thing for senior citizens above 60 years, and then 60 years and above, and then the third phase now has started. Government has also declared that all those above 18 years and above also should be vaccinated. And the plans rolled out for this is now being planned by the government of Karnataka. I'm sure in coming days, this vaccination would pick up. And as you know, that this is the only weapon that we have to fight against this COVID disease. Dr. Lokesh would definitely outline what are the plans the government has got, how we go about this, how do we cover the phase 3 and do about this. So with this, I would just like to hand over the mic back to Dr. Mahendra to continue with the program. Right? Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your encouraging words. I request Dr. Lokesh Alahari to start with the presentation. Dr. Lokesh?
Am I audible now?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. So thank you for those warm welcoming remarks. I thank Honorable VC sir for this opportunity, and also Dr. Mahendra sir, Dr. Dayanand, Dr. Rupashri from the university, and Dr. M.K. Sudarshan sir. As you all know, this COVID-19 vaccination has started since Jan 16. Now it's been nearly 3 months since we started this vaccination campaign, and we have entered this interesting phase of opening up to everybody above 18 years. So I think last time through the university, we had addressed a couple of webinars when there was few hesitancy among healthcare workers regarding the vaccination. So we did one panel discussion. So I think there were many interesting questions even then. So I'll take you through the presentation for initial, say, 30 to 40 minutes. Then we can have a discussion on what all queries people might have. Is my presentation visible? Yeah.
Yes, it is.
So the COVID-19 vaccination in our country was launched on 16 January. So phase 1 was for healthcare workers and frontline workers. Phase 2 was for persons above 60 years initially. Then it got expanded to 45 and above with comorbidity, and later it was expanded to 45 years everybody irrespective of comorbidity. Now, since May 1st, we started with the phase 3 vaccination campaign, where all the persons aged 18 to 44 also are made eligible for the vaccination. Of course, there are some riders to this, which we'll discuss. COVID-19 vaccination strategy has been formulated at national level as per guidance of NEGVAC. So National Expert Group on COVID-19 vaccination. This involves experts from all fields and all departments who are concerned with vaccine manufacturing, vaccine marketing, say technical experts, epidemiology, pediatrics, physicians, everybody. So there are 3 vaccines as on today which have received emergency use listing in India. So one is the Covishield, second Covaxin, and the recent one being Sputnik 5. So all 3 are 2-dose schedules. That is for getting complete vaccination, 2 doses are required. And at present, the vaccines are not interchangeable. That is, a beneficiary must complete vaccination schedule using same vaccine product. So there is interchangeability studies are still happening with few of the vaccines across the world. But as of now, there is no evidence that if we use a different vaccine for the consequent dose, what will be the efficacy. So that is why this recommendation. Then this one being very important for India, that is the storage temperature for these vaccines is similar to our universal immunization program vaccines, that is +2 to +8 degrees. So we have done some tremendous progress over last 3 months. If we recall, probably last year around this time, we didn't know whether there will be any successful vaccine which will be available in a year's time. But we have made a tremendous progress probably in vaccine research and making a vaccine available. And there has not been one, but many vaccine candidates which are available to us in the present date. So India has completed administering over 17 crore doses. So this is a very huge number in the context of present pandemic and in the time given. So from Jan 16th, and Karnataka has recently crossed 1 crore doses. So I just want to highlight the newest one which has come out, that age group 18 to 44. So started from May 1st. So around 25 lakh doses have been administered. This might be very small considered to other age groups, considering the availability of vaccines also, which is also one of the very important things in rolling out such a large vaccination campaign. So in our state also, more than 20,000 have been vaccinated, which started rolling out from yesterday. One more important thing I want to stress here is, if you see the coverage among age group 45 to 60 and also above 60, if you just compare the dose 1 and dose 2, the first dose coverage has been relatively good. So even in our state, say more than 35 lakh persons have been vaccinated both in these age group for the first dose. But the second dose coverage, which is also as important, is not as good. Though say above 60 years, many are already due. 45 to 60 years, it might be possible that they have not yet completed 6 weeks for Covishield. They might be waiting for second dose. So this is also one of the important concerns which we should address at present. And also one more reason might also be the vaccine availability. One more important decision which India took recently was fast tracking emergency approvals for foreign produced vaccines. That is, say if a vaccine is already approved either by US FDA, European Medicines Association, UK MHRA, PMDA Japan, or if it is listed by WHO sorry, under emergency use listing, it may be granted emergency use approval in India, mandating the requirement of post-approval parallel bridging clinical trial. Okay, so they need not wait for local clinical trial to happen and then seek approval. So they can directly seek approval and then a trial can be conducted. So that is the one of the very important decisions which our country took very recently. So we are expecting that this decision will also lead to entry of a few more vaccine candidates, but this does not discount approval process. So even those, say a Pfizer vaccine or a Moderna vaccine, they have to apply for approval in India also, and they have to seek emergency use approval, then introduce. But that approval process is being very simplified if they are already have sought approval in the other countries or already listed by WHO. So phase 3 vaccination, MOHFW has issued the liberalized pricing and accelerated national COVID vaccination strategy for further accelerating the pace of COVID-19 vaccination, particularly like expanding the age group to 18 years to 44 years. So now everybody above 18 years will be eligible for vaccination in the country. It will continue to be mandatory, however, for all the government and private COVID vaccination centers to register on CoWIN system. So this will remain that all vaccination, even in the private sector, have to happen through the CoWIN system only, regardless of source of vaccination. So the vaccines also will be 2 sources now. So for 45 years and above, the government of India will continue to supply free vaccines to all the states. The government vaccination centers will continue free vaccination for 45 and above through GOI procured vaccines, which is supplied. For 18 to 44 in government, it has to be procured by the states if they have to provide, or in private sector, any vaccination they have to procure for themselves. So it is also mandatory for all CVCs to record all vaccinations, issue digital vaccination certificate, and to report AEFIs through CoWIN system. So all the guidelines which are there even before liberalized pricing, this will continue. So registration of COVID vaccination center, this also will stay same. Those health facilities which are already registered, they can just create a session and start vaccinating if they have the vaccines. The eligibility condition will remain same. There is no need for any fresh registration in the CoWIN portal as such. But the prerequisites, as I told, these will always be applicable. There should be sufficient cold chain space and capacity, exclusive refrigerator or ILR for vaccines, sufficient rooms or space for waiting area, vaccination area, and observation area. Sufficient number of trained vaccinators and verifiers should be available, and ability to manage AEFIs. So particularly if any anaphylaxis happens, ability to manage there and refer. These should be available for any facility to be considered for COVID-19 vaccination. Particularly, I'll show you in the next slides. These are being expanded to even industries and office spaces also. So even they have to have these basic things if they want to do vaccination at their premises. So registration of industrial establishments as a CVC. So whether an industrial establishment, say, or an office has a hospital of their own that is eligible for registration as a CVC as per eligibility conditions, such industrial establishment or hospital can be registered as CoWIN vaccination center. Okay, any office space or an industrial establishment. So if they don't have any suitable space or hospital, they can also tie up with existing private CVC or a private hospital for conducting vaccination through that private hospital. For inclusion of new non-empaneled private CVCs, say a newer hospital, a nursing home, which was not previously doing vaccination till say May 1st, they can also get enrolled for COVID-19 vaccination under CoWIN through seeking permission from state through ddimcare@gmail.com. So the district RCHO should be approached first. They will verify whether all the criteria are met, and approval should be sought from state. Then only they can conduct vaccination. So how do they procure vaccine? The private hospitals and the industrial establishments, through their hospitals willing to provide vaccination, may procure vaccine doses directly from the manufacturers or the distributors. Like in Karnataka already, the Apollo Group, the Manipal Group, they have already started vaccination. And also, if for giving example of industrial establishment, the Reliance Group, Reliance Industries, they have procured vaccines directly from Serum Institute, and for all their office spaces, they are conducting vaccination. So like that. So government will not be issuing vaccines to private CVCs from May 1st onwards. So all the government vaccines will be available at the government vaccination center. All the private vaccination center, particularly all the private medical colleges also who have joined, they have to directly procure vaccines from concerned manufacturers. Each private CVC, including already registered CVC, must declare on CoWIN the vaccine type, so which vaccine they will be giving, stock of vaccine, and prices decided by CVC to be charged to the citizens. So this is important because any public person who will be logging in to book an appointment, they'll be saving this price. So here Covishield vaccine is available. What is the price? So that will be available online for general public to book appointments. So they have to show this while getting registered. And this can be edited whenever a new vaccine is available, say the vaccine prices change. So all that can be editable. As per present Government of Karnataka notification, private CVC can charge maximum service charge of ₹100 per dose apart from cost of vaccine. So both the manufacturers have announced cost of vaccine. So apart from that, the hospital can charge ₹100 per dose. In government, this will continue to be free. So the vaccine types and their prices will be displayed in the appointment module on CoWIN so that citizens can make an informed choice. They can see the price and book an appointment. And also the private CVC, the CVC's COVID vaccination center will be able to populate their schedule for offering appointment slots for citizens only after requisite information. So they have to populate all these things on the CoWIN portal. What is the vaccine type, stock, prices? All vaccination slots at private will continue to be offered only for online appointment. To start with this liberalized vaccination campaign, so this month we are starting with only online appointment at all the private CVCs. On-site or walk-in registration will be allowed only if any doses are left in the last opened vial, so as to minimize vaccine wastages. So this will be applicable to private CVCs. The provision of online appointment will not be applicable to industrial establishments because it will be only open to employees or personnel within the industrial establishment or the office space. So there need not be any online appointment. As a workplace CVC, it will be facilitated cohort kind of session which can be created on CoWIN portal, and vaccination of that industrial establishment or office can be done there itself. So our 18 to 44 coming to Karnataka, it was launched on May 1st as a symbolic launch for 18 to 44 years. Actual campaign began from yesterday, as I already told. Estimated population, if we want to see for Karnataka, it is around 3.26 crore. The estimated doses which might be required is nearly 6.5 crore if you want to vaccinate everybody in this age group. Karnataka has initially placed an order of 2 crore doses of Covishield and 1 crore doses of Covaxin with the concerned manufacturers, and the campaign has begun from yesterday. So for age group of 44 plus, Government of India will continue to supply vaccines free of cost. Vaccination for 44 plus will be done free of cost at all government hospitals. Private, as I told, either be it 18 to 44 or 44 plus, it will be on charge basis. So I'll repeat this slide for the sake of further clarity. As provided in the GOI strategy document, all priority groups, may it be healthcare workers, frontline workers, citizens above 45 years, they shall continue to be eligible for vaccination free of cost at all government facilities where vaccination is happening. Or if say healthcare workers or frontline workers want to avail vaccination from a private center, it will be on payment basis. Coming to the 18 to 44 group, it will be free of cost from all government facilities. Again, at private, it will be on payment basis. So vaccination for 18 to 44 group will be done for online registered beneficiaries only and online appointment booking only, whether be it government or private. So they have to register, book an appointment, then only come to vaccination center. So there is no walk-in allowed for any of the 18 to 44 age group at any of the private or government centers. So this is one important thing which we should communicate to every eligible beneficiaries. Because of these, there are some problems which we encountered yesterday because lack of information, that some seeing that vaccination has started, they have started walking into vaccination centers for vaccination. So registration and appointment, so these are two different things. Again, there should be clarity among everybody, particularly the public, that registration is like getting yourself registered on the portal. So any person above 18, they can register online, like name, telephone number, age, and valid ID. So with these things, they'll register on the portal. Next step is online appointment booking. So these two are different. So everybody can log into CoWIN portal and immediately register themselves. But online appointment booking can be done only if a health facility has an open slots. That is, they are doing COVID vaccination and there are some slots available which can be booked. Then only online appointment can be scheduled. So this is only after online appointment booking is scheduled, they can come to the vaccination center for vaccination, particular time and date. So this is the portal. The portal remains the same, self-registration.cowin.gov.in. So Government of Karnataka has initiated from 10th May, that is from yesterday. So what Government of Karnataka has done is, since the vaccine supply is also coming in small tranches, say around 5 lakh, 6 lakh will be received in frequent intervals. So Government of Karnataka has now initiated vaccination at all the major hospitals in Bangalore, like KCG, Jayanagar General Hospital, C.V. Raman Hospital, all the government medical colleges, all the central government institutions, and across the district at all district hospitals, government medical colleges, and taluka hospital. So as the vaccine supply becomes, say, more adequate, then it will be expanded to all the vaccination center as per feasibility. Then each vaccination session will be around 100 to 150 appointments per day, which is going on from yesterday. Appointments are being scheduled for 7 days with advance period of 7 days. So from yesterday, for next 7 days, all the appointments were open. Actually, all got booked very quickly also. Number of session site created for this purpose will be based on vaccine availability, as I already told. So COVID-19 vaccination certificate, this remains the same portal from where we can download the vaccination certificate. COVID-19 vaccination certificate can be downloaded anytime. We all can download our certificates from this portal. OTP authentication will be done through the mobile number which was used during vaccination. So this will be available forever. Okay. And for all future references as proof of COVID vaccination, only CoWIN generated digitally verifiable vaccination certificate will be valid. So that is why Government of India has been insisting that all vaccination, whether be it government or private, should happen only through CoWIN portal. So later, for any future reference, for any proof of vaccination, only this digitally verifiable certificate of CoWIN portal will be valid. So provisions in CoWIN portal, also the CoWIN portal has been upgraded. I'll not go into too much of detail because separate trainings have been already done for all the, I think, districts, even at the district level. So DIO means the RCHO can open sessions for 18 to 44 years on CoWIN from state procured vaccines. So one additional thing is the OTP authentication included to eliminate the mistakes. So for any changes regarding the price, regarding the vaccine, which is to be done on the portal, OTP will be sent to the district RCH officer or the site manager in case of private. So once they enter the OTP, then only that corrections or updations will be made on the portal, so as to minimize the errors. Otherwise, most of the things have been same. One thing which is additionally come is setting up the price. So now the price will be set as default 0. It can be edited and updated. So for scheduling a session, one more important thing here is, say a session 1 can be created for 18 to 44 age group and one for 45 plus age group. So these two sessions should be created separately, even at private centers or be it government centers. Okay. So 18 to 44 a separate session, and 45 plus a separate session has to be created on CoWIN portal. And also if there are two vaccines present, say Covaxin and Covishield both are present, then separate session even for those two vaccines should also be done. But it is better to avoid parallel sessions with both the vaccines at all the centers. So accordingly, for the feasibility wise, the option is there on the portal, but how best a center can do, they can plan accordingly. And RCHOs can register new hospitals which want to do vaccination. If new hospitals are already registered, they can continue. Only thing is the price fixing, those things need to be updated. The OTP authentication for every change will be with the site manager in the private. So in private, one nodal officer will be identified who is the site manager credentials. I think most of the site manager credentials were already done during April. So availability and price of vaccine can be viewed when booking an appointment by the general public. So this is the thing. 18 to 44 age group, 18 to 44 only, it will be 100% online by default. So there will be no walk-in allowed, either be it state supplied vaccine or be it private. It will be 100% online. For 45 and above, at government centers, it will be available for healthcare worker, frontline workers, and also online or offline. So at present, in Karnataka, what is happening is there has been stress to improve the second dose coverage. I showed you in the second slide itself. There's a huge difference in our first dose coverage and second dose coverage. So there has been constant and push from the national level and state level to ensure that each individual gets fully protected by taking both the doses. So that has been is being given preference at present to cover as many people with the second dose with the available doses of vaccine. This I'll skip. So new features and upgrades. Updating category and subcategory of a hospital have been included on CoWIN portal, declaring the minimum age. So Government of India, they had given a choice. Say some of the states what they are doing. So they are starting vaccination from say 30 to 45 age group first. Then they want to expand it to 18 to 30, probably something like that. So that flexibility is also there on the CoWIN portal. Declaring minimum age and vaccine. So creating session for 18 to 44 and self-registration. So there have been simple videos which have been circulated also, how a private session can be created on the CoWIN portal. It's just a minute video. I'll just take you through. So just select the minimum age, 18 years. Then go to type of vaccine, either Covaxin or Covishield. Then what will be the price of vaccine? So that can be put and add vaccine. Then if you want to schedule another vaccine also, just select another vaccine, price of vaccine and add vaccine. So the session will get created. So after that, what has to be done is the session has to be published. So then it will be visible. That's it. So coming to creation and publication of the session. So this session was already created. So then you can select the date. So say 28th, Covaxin or Covishield session. Timing can be selected as per convenience and also the capacity. So it will be 100% online for all the private centers. If you just click add, that session will be added. If you want to create for another vaccine, again, a separate session has to be created on CoWIN. So this is very important. So for 18 to 44, it will be separate session. Above 45, it will be separate session. Okay, at the end, this has to be clicked, publish session. Only then it will be visible for public to book their appointments. Yeah. So what are the documents required for vaccination? Though this remains same, but I wanted to emphasize on this a bit. So most of the people are getting an Aadhaar card for vaccination nowadays. Election ID, passport, driving license, PAN card, National Population Registry, NPR smart card or pension document. So these are the valid photo ID document which should be available. For healthcare worker and frontline worker, they can just carry their official ID or employment certificate to get vaccinated. So there has been suggestion from many of the states to GOI, what happens to those persons who don't have any ID, particularly those groups which include nomadic population, say sadhus, saints from different religions, prison inmates, inmates from mental health institution, rehabilitation homes, old age homes, there have been people without IDs. Okay, so for these, there has been a provision which has been made on the CoWIN portal. So the CoWIN system will provide the facility to create the separate session for such people. They can be mobilized, and without ID, they can be vaccinated also. A detailed SOP from Government of Karnataka is expected soon. So after that, this will be made available. So I'll just brush up through the basics of vaccination also in next 5 to 10 minutes. Then we'll go to like question answer session. So as I told, this thing is very important considering the spike of COVID cases going on. We should also see to it that all our vaccination sites should follow COVID appropriate behaviors. So this is very, very, very important presently in the particularly in the present scenario. So there should be separate space for waiting area, vaccination area, observation area. So more important is the ventilation, the physical distancing, so availability of hand sanitizer. So these should be very important. So whether distancing is possible, whether session scheduling is done in such a way that they are the staggered approach, people are coming and taking vaccination. And also availability of manpower. So there should be at least 4 people who should be there at per vaccination session so that they can verify the ID. To operate the CoWIN portal, there should be a person. There should be a person to see or observe people in the observation area after vaccination. And of course, the vaccinator, who is the vaccination officer. So vaccine specifications for Covishield and Covaxin, both are liquid vaccines, intramuscular, 2-dose schedule, 0.5 ml. Okay. So Covishield, it comes in a 10-dose vial. Covaxin is coming in both 10-dose vial and 20-dose vial. So recent supplies have been 10-dose vials even for Covaxin. Physical appearance, both are very clear, slightly opaque, sometimes colorless to slightly brown. Recommended temperature is +2 to +8 for both. Shake test is not applicable, so it should not be frozen. Even if it is frozen, we'll not get to know unless it is visibly frozen. So we should ensure it's not frozen. There's no VVM on the vial, particularly because we don't know which VVM is applicable, how many days the vaccine will stay potent, even if it is exposed to how much temperature for how many days. So the data is not available. Open vial policy is not applicable. This also, there have been many questions in recent days, particularly there has been one, I think, communication from Bharat Biotech that their vaccine, once open, can be used for 28 days. But till date, Government of India has not given any revised guideline regarding the open vial policy for both the vaccines. So till any Government of India communication comes, there will be no open vial policy applicable. So if any change happens, it is once the Government of India notifies, then we can accordingly follow that. So as of now, once vial is opened, it should be immediately used or within 4 hours, and beyond 4 hours, it should be discarded. Anyways, none of the vaccination centers at present, it is lasting more than an hour or so, but still we should keep at back of our mind, particularly the last vial at the end of the day. So always ensure early expiry, first out policy. So we should keep vaccine in such a way it doesn't get frozen. And conditioning of ice pack is very, very important. Particularly, ice pack is removed from the deep freezer, allow it to sweat a bit so that a layer of water appears around the frozen ice, and then there is a crackling sound. So then only we keep the vaccine in the vaccine carriers and then take to the session. So this is very, very important, particularly because these are vaccines which will get damaged if they are frozen. Okay, so if we expose it to directly hard frozen ice packs also, there will be freeze damage to the vaccines. So ensure there is ILR or refrigerator exclusively for storing a vaccine. There should be uninterrupted power supply, temperature monitoring device should be there. Vaccine should not be used beyond 4 hours of opening. Always mention time immediately after opening. Use a new syringe for every vaccination. Never place partially used vials back into the ILR or refrigerator. Okay, there will be a chance that we might use it again and some AEFI happens, it will be dangerous. So as of now, open vial policy is not applicable to both the vaccines till any further notification from GOI. Every beneficiary should wait for 30 minutes after vaccination to observe for particularly any anaphylaxis. So anaphylaxis kit, adrenaline should be available at every vaccination center, particularly where the vaccination is happening. Many hospitals, there'll be emergency tray in another room or another block, but at the vaccination site itself, having adrenaline, the anaphylaxis kit is very important. Every AEFI should be reported on CoWIN. Actually, this reporting has gone down a lot in the last 1 month. So every AEFI, be it be minor, severe, serious, should be reported on CoWIN portal. There is an easy option to just report it on the CoWIN. On whatever day the patient comes back that I have developed this minor or serious, they can immediately select that drop down and report as AEFI. So this should be done particularly because both the vaccines are very new. We need to understand what are the events following immunization. Strict injection safety precautions and waste disposal as per standard guidelines. So as I already told, ensure same manufacturer vaccine is administered for the second dose. So the interchangeability studies are still awaited. So we don't know what will be the efficacy if second dose is with a different vaccine. Never expose vaccine carrier, vial or ice pack to direct sunlight. So we should keep them at +2 to +8. Then keep COVID vaccine on the table and not on the ice pack. There is a practice that one ice pack will be kept on the table and then on the ice pack, the vaccine will be kept. So that should not be done for COVID vaccine. Just keep it on the table and keep using, but not on the ice pack. So both are freeze sensitive vaccines also. So never pre-fill syringes, just pre-fill only one syringe for use, not multiple ones, to ensure injection safety. And for us, adverse event following immunization, this has been one of the most important thing, most debated thing, but reporting wise, there has been up and down in the reporting. So we saw in Jan, there was like very much curious and the reporting was too good when the vaccination campaign started. But as the time progressed, say we came to Feb, March, April, so the minor AEFIs almost like stopped reporting. It is a common thing. We know this happens, so we need not report. So that should not happen. So an adverse event following immunization is any untoward medical occurrence. So this is very important. Any untoward medical occurrence which follows immunization and which does not necessarily have a causal relationship with usage of vaccine. That is, say, just to give a very vague example, very vague. So today a person got vaccinated, tomorrow there was an accident, road traffic accident. Okay, so even that is a medical event. So even that has to be reported as AEFI, even though it is coincidental and not necessarily have a causal relationship with the vaccine. Okay, it is like that. So that person has any medical event following vaccination, just report it. Okay. So AEFIs are classified into minor, severe, and serious. Minor ones we all know. There'll be self-limiting ones, pain, swelling at site of injection, and fever, irritability, malaise, body ache, particularly on the day of vaccination or next day, and you self-limiting within 24 to 48 hours. Severe ones are disabling or life-threatening, but they're like where hospitalization is not done. Say anaphylaxis happened at the session site, but not hospitalized, managed on OPD basis. So, or a fever of more than 102 degree, treated and recovered. Okay, these should be reported as severe. In the serious ones, there are like death, disability, hospitalization, cluster, or which evokes significant community concern. So these are serious. Okay. So most of the serious ones are still getting reported, which is good, but severe and minor AFI reporting is going very less, and it's like I can say that reporting is quite poor across many places as we are progressing with the vaccination. So there are preventable AEFIs due to anxiety reactions, particularly when we are opening up to 18 to 44. This age group, they'll be more anxious. The one is they're more anxious to get vaccinated also, but they're more anxious that this is a new vaccine and this is an injection which they'll be taking. So it is always good to interact with them, make them calm, and then give injection. So avoid immunization errors. I have already emphasized all these things. We'll come back to it. So giving important messages also is important, particularly as I told, our first dose coverage has been decently good as compared to the number of doses received. We have done very well with the coverage also. But the thing is second dose. So we also need to communicate properly when second dose is due. The CoWIN also sends SMS reminders. Okay. So one thing I want to emphasize here is for Covishield, the duration for second dose has been extended. That is, the window period is 6 to 8 weeks. After receiving first dose, second dose should be taken 6 to 8 weeks after the first dose. For Covaxin, it remains 4 to 6 weeks after the first dose. Okay. So whenever a person takes Covaxin, we ask them come back after a month for second dose. For Covishield, we can tell come after 1.5 to 2 months. So management of AEFI, I will not go into detail of this, but whenever anaphylaxis happens, we should be able to manage. This is the only life-threatening thing which might happen. So at least one sign or symptom related to at least 2 of the following 3 systems should be there. So these, I have put this slide only because we have to emphasize these to our staff nurses, to our vaccinators again and again. So they should understand how to identify an anaphylaxis and what to do. Okay. So this reorientation every time becomes very, very, very important. We have put this in multiple trainings, but say whenever a rotation happens of the staff nurses or the ANMs, they training in identifying how will they identify anaphylaxis immediately and what will they do. This will be very important. And this can easily be managed. So though life-threatening, it can easily be managed with adrenaline. So adult dosage is 0.5 ml and reporting is also as much important. It will be a good practice if a register can also be maintained at all the health facilities to note down any AEFIs which come up. So this will also be like good learning for the institution also to see these are being new vaccines, how many AEFIs are actually coming. And also reporting on CoWIN is also as much important. Cluster is defined as 2 or more cases of same adverse event related in time, place, or vaccine administered. So a recent guideline has come just few days back from Government of India that any case of hospitalization or death of a COVID positive person, COVID positive, that is RT-PCR confirmed case, who has received at least 1 dose of vaccine before getting infected should be reported as a serious AEFI on CoWIN and investigated accordingly. Okay. A person who has received 1 or more doses of vaccine, has turned COVID positive, has to be reported as AEFI. Okay. Reporting of any serious or severe adverse event occurring beyond 1 week of vaccination up to 28 days, these we are missing a lot. This should be encouraged. Okay. So if a AEFI happens within 1 day, 2 days, we are getting reporting, that is very good. But even beyond 1 week up to at least 28 days, if we insist, we'll get to know what are the events which are happening following vaccination, either unrelated or related. We can do causality assessment, but once we get the report, that is important. Unless that, we cannot do more investigation for that. Also, state and district AEFI committees are formed at every district level. Most of the medical college faculty are already part of all the committees at state level and district level. So these are the minor AEFIs which are put in the vaccine inserts. I will not go into detail of this, but just a mention. So one more important thing, there was a concern regarding this Covishield vaccine, the AstraZeneca one. Sorry. So there have been multiple reports of thromboembolism or pulmonary embolism which have been reported following AstraZeneca vaccine. So there have been careful scientific review which has been done, and WHO has this is the statement of WHO, the present stand. So the available data do not suggest any overall increase in clotting conditions such as deep vein thrombosis or pulmonary embolism following administration of COVID-19 vaccine. But still, we have to keep a close vigil on that, keep watching such events. Okay. And at present, the benefit of vaccine outweigh the risk due to vaccine administrations. Okay. So the committee recommends all countries to continue vaccination with AstraZeneca or Covishield vaccine, but at the same time continue to monitor the safety of all such events and keep reporting. Okay, so just wanted to put that update. So I'll come to some of the few precautions and contraindications. Dr. Mahendra had requested me to particularly look into a few of the questions which have been coming in the last few webinars from various medical colleges particularly. So many of the queries will get answered, but still we'll have question answer session after this. So as per present GOI guideline, these contraindications have been listed out. Authorized age group under emergency use approval is only for 18 years and above. Okay, so what is the status for pediatric age group? As of now, these two vaccines are not approved for pediatric age group. There are obviously studies going on. As you might have read recently, the Pfizer vaccine has been approved for use about 12 years in a couple of countries. And also there are, say, Moderna vaccine, even AstraZeneca vaccine, Pfizer vaccine, even Covaxin. There are trials which are starting or ongoing for children above 5 years. Okay, 5 to 16 year age group. The multiple studies are going on, but it will take some time for results to come out. Co-administration of vaccine. Again, this is one of the query which keeps coming. COVID-19 vaccine and other vaccines, co-administration, there has not been any studies. Hence, GOI has advocated there should be interval of 14 days between two vaccines. Say a person who has taken hepatitis B should take COVID vaccine after 14 days. Same applies, queries keep coming for rabies vaccine. Say the person got vaccinated for COVID-19 vaccine and there was a dog bite. Then there is no, these days don't apply. Okay, that becomes an emergency and rabies vaccine and immunoglobulin should be administered. Okay, but otherwise, say TT vaccine, TD vaccine or hepatitis B vaccine, they should be spaced by 14 days. Interchangeability of COVID-19 vaccine is not permitted. As I told, even the data is not available. Second dose should be of the same vaccine. First dose Covishield, second dose Covishield. First dose Covaxin, second dose Covaxin. So what are the contraindications? So persons with history of anaphylactic or allergic reaction to the previous dose of COVID-19 vaccine. So for first dose, if there has been anaphylaxis, the second dose is contraindicated. Immediate or delayed onset anaphylaxis or allergic reaction to vaccines or injectable therapies, pharma products or food items are also contraindications. So there have been some persons with say food allergy, mild, some had tablet allergy to something. They have taken vaccine and doing safe, but should be done only under supervision. This is all I can tell, but as per GOI guideline, these are all contraindications. Allergy to any drug, any vaccine, any pharma product, or anaphylaxis to first dose is a contraindication. Sorry. Coming to pregnancy and lactation, again, this is one of the interesting question which keeps coming again and again. This is the GOI guideline again. pregnant and lactating women have not been part of any COVID-19 vaccine clinical trial so far globally. Okay. So therefore, women who are pregnant or not sure of their pregnancy and lactating women should not receive COVID-19 vaccine at this time. So this is the present guideline. So globally also WHO recommends that persons, say if they are pregnant or lactating women, if they are among high risk group, they can be explained the risk and vaccine can be administered. But there is no evidence, there is no study that it is safe as of now. Okay, hence Government of India has put it under contraindications. Then some provisional contraindication. Provisional means we should defer vaccination in these groups by 4 to 8 weeks. So persons having active COVID-19 infection, I have got a COVID-19 infection now, I have just recovered. Okay, so they should delay vaccination by 4 to 8 weeks. So from the date of discharge or from the date of recovery. So 4 to 8 weeks later, vaccination can be taken. Then persons who have also given anti-SARS-CoV-2 monoclonal antibodies or convalescent plasma, or almost applies similarly. Acutely unwell. So for any reason unwell or hospitalized, please delay. Let the person recover, then we can give the vaccine. Particularly this question is asked many times, that person has developed COVID infection after the first dose. When should the second dose be taken? Again, this is the same, 4 to 8 weeks after recovery or from the date of discharge, second dose should be taken. Okay. So there is some special precautions. Again, these are not contraindications. Vaccine should be administered with caution in person with history of any bleeding or coagulation disorders. So this is not a contraindication. Persons with clotting factor deficiency, coagulopathy, platelet disorder can take the vaccine. Okay. So this is not a contraindication, but obviously any intramuscular injection might cause some increased bleeding in them. So that injection site should be pressed for longer period of time. And if their physician suggests, an INA test might also be required. So with special precautions they can take. It is not a contraindication. Okay. So this also question many keep asking. Then vaccine can be given in these conditions. So these are also not contraindication. Person with a past history of COVID, as I already told, I had COVID in the past. Can I take the vaccine? Yes. 4 to 8 weeks later. After first dose infection, again same. History of chronic diseases and comorbidities, may it be cardiac, neurological, pulmonary, metabolic, renal, malignancies. So all persons can take COVID-19 vaccination. In fact, they are at higher risk of COVID infection. Mortality, morbidity due to COVID infection will be higher in them. So it is all the more reason that COVID-19 vaccination should be taken, and it is safe. Immunodeficiency, HIV, persons on immune suppression due to any condition. Okay, the response to COVID-19 vaccination might slightly be less, but it is always good to take the vaccine in these person also. These are all not contraindications. So I am repeating again, any comorbidity, cardiac, neurological, pulmonary, metabolic, renal, malignancies is not a contraindication for COVID-19 vaccination. Then vaccine specific contraindication may apply if manufacturer comes up with any. One more important thing people keep asking is blood donation. So there have been few rumors also going on that please donate blood before you take the vaccine. There's a huge shortage of blood. So these kind of rumors. So the present GOI guideline I have put up. So there's globally there have been multiple recommendations, but we'll follow government of recommendation. So I just put only the government of India recommendation most of the places, so that message conveyed is one and we are all clear on same page. So what is the present GOI guideline? After 14 days after receiving any dose of the currently available vaccine, that is Covaxin or Covishield, blood donation can be done if the person meets other norms of blood donation. Okay, so blood donation needs to be deferred by 14 days among vaccinated persons. Okay, so this is the present guideline. Sorry. then there'll be many rumors which will be coming again and again. So you can just have this WhatsApp number and email ID. This is a very quick PIB fact check by GOI, which is really doing good by Press Information Bureau, that if you can WhatsApp them or email them, any message which is not authenticated comes across, they'll verify it and tell you back whether it's authentic or not, or some old information being circulated again. Okay, like this one. So there was one claim that girls should not take vaccine 5 days before and 5 days after menstrual cycle. So this is a fake message. Okay, there's no truth in that. There's all females can take vaccine even during menstruation. There's no evidence relating to that. Also, there was some talk regarding cross interaction between vaccination and alcohol, vaccination and smoking. Among them also, there is no evidence as of now, interaction with vaccination and alcohol. Okay. What impact do the new variants? So this many people recently keep asking. There have been many new variants which have come. Will the vaccine which I have taken, will they still hold good? So the evidence is still evolving. That is one thing I want to tell first. The COVID-19 vaccines that are currently in development or have been already approved are expected to provide at least some protection against new variants, because these vaccines elicit a broad immune response. Okay, so there will be some protection. How much protection, we are not yet sure. Therefore, changes or mutation in the virus should not make vaccines completely ineffective. Okay, so data continues to be collected and analyzed on new variants of the COVID-19 virus. So we have some neutralization studies, particularly with Covaxin vaccine, with the Covishield vaccine as well. With few of the variants, it has been able to neutralize, but how much in the general population as such, we don't know. More evidence is awaited, but you can see there'll be some protection because of this broad protection, but we can't tell how much the level of protection may be there unless some study comes out. Yeah, thank you. We'll stop sharing, and if any queries are there, probably we can take them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Of course, we have a lot of queries.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Rupasri, you can start reading out from the chat box.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'd like to thank Dr. Lokesh Alhari, sir, for very detailed information and almost clarifying the questions which are asked in the previous session. So I will again, sir, as we know, there are very many questions which are again asked repeatedly. I will not take up those questions, especially regarding pregnancy, lactating mothers, and also the duration of second dose of vaccine after the infection. So the question here is, this is a question from Ramya SR. A person who is 45 years above are getting only second dose at CVC as per instructions, but is providing option for the first dose, it seems. It's a question.
Yeah, this is more due to operational reasons than the technical reasons. As I told, due to vaccine availability, the many people have received the first dose and they're not able to receive the second dose on time and not getting the full protection. So with the available doses of vaccine, there has been a constant effort which has been made, deliberate effort in the sense to give the second dose with the available doses of vaccine and complete their immunization so that they get full protection. So once the vaccine availability improves, there will not be any such differentiation. So we'll start covering as much first dose, second dose, whoever keep coming. But the so efforts to mobilize for second dose will keep continuing, because we have seen that's a huge difference. The first dose is, say, 35 lakh people have taken first dose, but only 3 or 4 lakh people have come back for the second dose. So that should not happen. So once the vaccine availability increases, this will be sorted out. Thank you.
So again, repetition, sir, but still, how effective is Covishield vaccine?
Yeah, both vaccines are safe. Both vaccines are effective. So again, all the vaccines which are available, may it be Pfizer, Moderna, whatever vaccines, all vaccines prevent only severe disease and death due to COVID-19. So even after taking vaccine, how much ever be the efficacy, be it be 95% with the manufacturer claims, even after vaccination, infection can happen, because all the studies, the end point of measurement is not prevention of infection, but only prevention of severe disease and death. So even after vaccination, with any vaccine, with any efficacy, there might be a possibility of developing COVID infection. So that is one thing. So believe in both the vaccines. Both vaccines have been extensively administered in India, particularly in our country. So both vaccines are as much good in preventing severe disease and death.
Thank you. Gautam, can we take hand raise option?
Yes,
Mr.
madam.
Devjit Mondal, please ask your question. Devjit Mondal.
Please,
Hello.
sir.
Yes, sir. Please ask, sir.
What is the difference between Covishield and Covaxin?
The vaccine, in the sense, the both have a different platform. Covaxin is a killed vaccine. Okay. So Covishield is adenovirus vectored vaccine. So the way both elicit immune response is different, in the sense Covishield will elicit certain spike protein adenovirus vector vaccine. So accordingly, it will elicit the immune response. We can say that Covaxin, since it's a whole virus killed vaccine, it might be little more broad immune response, eliciting the immune response. But say the cell mediated immunity which our body will respond to, even with the existing strains of vaccine, is decently good enough with both the vaccines. So even though the platforms have been different, say mRNA vaccines are there, the adenovirus vectored vaccine, which is Covishield, the whole cell killed vaccine, the Covaxin. So the platform used for each vaccine is different. The storage temperature is different. They elicit antibodies to different proteins of the COVID virus, but the broad protection which is being given, we can say, remains almost similar. Hope I answered your question. Thank you. In simple words, Covishield is adenovirus vectored vaccine, Covaxin is killed vaccine.
Lalita Krishnappa.
Good evening, Dr. Lokesh. Thank you. It was
Yeah.
very clear and nice information. I have
Good
few
evening, ma'am.
queries. You said about those who turn out positive after being vaccinated with one dose. So what is the time slot? Any time? They need to report is first question. I'll finish off my questions, then you can answer them. Second, also the 10 days to 28 days, any serious events have to be reported is what is you are telling. So only if they come back to the center where they were vaccinated, they'll be able to report. Or for example, a person is hospitalized or dead because of COVID positive, may be hospitalized in some other hospital. So how do you see that it is coming in the loop and getting reported is the first question. And who has to do? Is it the hospital which has to do, or the BBMP where the deaths get reported? Should they do? That is the concern. And next, for the vaccination above 18 years, registration is mandated. But is the slot also available even for the government sector CCBs, or is it only for private? And also the interchangeability, I think the portal only should not allow that option.
Yeah.
Sometimes that may happen, I feel. And also to look at the cold chain monitoring, there should be a system from the government to monitor this, especially in the private sectors and also in government, because in the rush of giving vaccination, it may be lakhs or somebody to monitor and support them, not necessarily as a negative thing. Just a supportive supervision is important to ensure cold chain is what I feel. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, ma'am. So these are some very important questions. Just remind me if I miss any of your questions. So first thing is, say there is no time duration as such for any vaccine adverse event which can be linked to the vaccine. There have been few vaccines for which very delayed adverse event have been observed for operational feasibility. But so any adverse event which happens within 28 days has to be reported. So that is the operational feasibility definition which we are communicating in all the trainings. Even for COVID infection or death, okay, after vaccination, if a person says I was vaccinated for COVID and I have developed disease or death even after 1 month or 2 months, if he tells, should be recorded and reported. But for every serious and severe AEFI, for operational feasibility, we take it within 28 days. But as I told in my presentation, beyond 1 week, literally it doesn't get reported. So that is what is happening. So, but it should get reported immediately also.
Who is going to report is my concern now. See,
Yeah,
for
how
example,
to report and whom to report.
who is going to
If the
report?
person comes back to the same center, it can be reported on CoWIN platform, or if person goes back to any hospital, anywhere the person is showing, the concerned hospital reports to the district RCH officer. So the district RCH officer is the nodal person for AEFI reporting and further investigation.
Let me give an example. One of my colleague, senior colleague, who had both the vaccines, anyway, contracted of COVID and expired. And there are so many such deaths after getting vaccination also. So though they may not be vaccinated in Ramaiah, where still we have to report saying that these were vaccinated.
Yes, that can be done.
Mechanism is
So,
not there.
yeah,
That's what I'm trying to tell.
anybody can report to district RCHO that this is a case of AEFI.
I think there should be a circular from BBMP saying that any deaths which has happened after vaccination should be mandatorily reported, which is not happening.
Yeah, that will be good. Yeah, we'll suggest that. Yeah, thank you very much, ma'am. And one more question I think was CoWIN should not allow vaccine interchangeability. Actually, it does not allow. It does not allow. But what happens is the person who manages that CoWIN portal might allow. So that is the issue. So when both sessions are simultaneously happening at the same hospital, they might verify, but verifying they might see Covishield, go to the Covishield room, the person might go to Covaxin room. So that might happen. So that is the issue. Thank you, ma'am.
Question from Dr. Suresh Kagalkar. He wants to ask a very specific question. Like duration of, he wants to know about the duration of appearance of IgM and IgG antibodies, because they are using these antibody kits prior to surgery.
Okay, so for vaccine protection, it's not routinely recommended to see IgG or IgM, and based on that, we can't tell that whether the person is actually protected or not. There is a cell-mediated immunity also, which plays a good role actually in providing protection, which actually might not show up only in the IgG. Okay, so usually after vaccination, after getting both the doses, IgG will start appearing usually around 2 weeks after the first dose, and optimum will be 2 weeks after the second dose. Okay, but it differs among different persons. There are persons who have like literally didn't have any antibodies after taking both the doses also, but they have been they have had very good cell-mediated immunity when they actually had the infection. They had very mild disease because they were vaccinated. So the antibody testing is not routinely recommended. That's all I can tell.
Okay. The question is, if a person is on Penidur LA12 for RHD, any advice regarding COVID vaccine?
No, person can safely take COVID vaccination, no issues.
Okay. And a question regarding lactation. Sir, as you said, they should not take a lactation. How long? Till they completely stop feeding, or how
Yeah,
long?
the present Government of India guideline is till they are breastfeeding, they should not take the vaccine.
So, Preeti, please ask your question. Preeti. Yes, Preeti.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, please go
Sir,
ahead.
what about the interaction with the diclofenac tablet or injection?
There's no such evidence as at present. There has been some news which had gone around that person had anaphylaxis following diclofenac injection post-COVID vaccination, but there have been no evidences or no such further reports on that. So
Okay.
as of now, there is no evidence.
But
Is there any interaction with any other drugs?
No. As of now, no.
okay. Sir,
Okay.
here in this regard, I also had few questions. Like because some people have reported a pain at the site of injection, or so for that, can they take any medication, or they can just
Yeah, they can take paracetamol. That is the best drug we advocate. If there is increased pain at the site of infection, there is fever, there will be body ache also for
Yes.
1 or 2 days. So paracetamol should be good.
Yeah. Apart from that, if they want to take, they have to consult a doctor.
Yeah. Painkillers are not a contraindication after COVID-19 vaccination.
Okay. Dr. Sarvan Udaya, please ask your question. Dr. Sarvanan.
Good afternoon, Dr. Lokesh. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible, sir.
Since yesterday, the vaccination for 18 to 44 age group has been started in our district, in our COVID vaccination center. Many are coming with the concern like they had got the 4-digit code in their mobile with the slot dates and timing, but by mistakenly they would have deleted that message. Would it be possible for them to retrieve the same message through CoWIN portal, or is there any alternative to retrieve that 4-digit code?
Yes, actually they can log into the CoWIN portal itself where they registered, the self-registration.cowin.gov.in. That receipt will be available. So if that receipt is there, it can be put, no issues.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay. Dr. Anvit Tejas. Dr. Anvit.
Good evening, sir. Am I audible, sir?
Yeah, good evening.
Hello?
You are audible.
Yes, sir. Where to procure these vaccines? It's a common thing they're telling the hospital, they tell that directly from the company. But is there any the nodal person or a particular portal through which you can order the vaccine, sir?
As of now, they have not done something like that, but I think we should start advocating such thing, that there should be some uniform distribution so that the private sector also, it will be easy for them to approach within the state or district to order and procure. Thank you.
Ranganath, please ask your question.
Yeah, Lokesh, with permission of organizers, I would like to share the 1 minute my experience in the Victoria Hospital vaccination. Dr. Lokesh?
Yeah, you are audible, sir. Please go on.
Yes, sir. This day 2 18 plus vaccination. My two observations, as in your presentation, you said 18 plus and 45 plus both should come online registration. Because of online registration, both are same portal. So they are coming and making in the single queue and making a big mesh. This is a big problem that has to be rectified. 18 plus is a different vaccine and 45 plus is a different vaccine. It is a big mess. It is a 2 days observation.
Yes, sir.
Second one
Thank
is,
you,
mixing of vaccine is also happening, because many of these not like everybody is not like Lokesh. Somebody have maybe taken first dose as Covax, second one is Covishield. There is possibility of mixing in a place like Bangalore, rural areas, other things. Third one, 18 plus you have created since yesterday. App is opening. So the app will be tweeted, hacked within 4 seconds. I think my friend Dr. Vani is there online. She will say, you look at this, in Bangalore, 18 plus vaccination is going on. Purely they are IT people. Other than IT people, they cannot do this. The issue is because I came to know that there is a hack or Twitter, IP or something like this. I have created the session yesterday night, 10 24, 10:25, all 150 into 7 days, 1070 slots were booked. In 4 seconds, 4 seconds, all those are booked. It's possible only by the IT people, cannot by the others. And third one is every day you book for the 150. In my centers, 130, 140 are coming. Next day, if I try them, so that is not coming. So that is over. I think that quota, the 10, 15, it's all over. And fourth one, AEFI, you said, in my center, I kept my own separate AEFI phone number. Very few people has called up regarding this vaccination, but this thing is newer. Even after vaccination and developing the disease, COVID positive. It is if that is so, then AEF will come very much in almost all medical colleges, hospital where the doctors are doing COVID duties. Definitely every hospital have more than 300, 400 doctors by this time, January to year, they might have positive. So if you take that as a AEF5, then the issues are different to be discussed. Thank you for giving opportunity. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. So one thing again, as you told, in all government centers above 45, the vaccine is from Government of India. Below 45, the vaccine is state procured. So that different vaccine has to be managed. So that is one challenge, I understand. And booking of slots, probably since very limited vaccine is available at present, that is happening. And also Government of India has released those APIs. The APIs in the sense, the CoWIN slots which become available, it can be shown on multiple websites. Let's say like Paytm is also showing when any on-site like online appointment is visible. So they are able to do it because software people, they are savvy, tech savvy. Probably they are doing it very quickly. Others are not able to, but this will be resolved in few days when more vaccine becomes available and more centers are available for vaccination. So we have to wait for things to stabilize a bit, particularly 1 or 2 weeks. And AEFI reporting, we understand, sir, that has to be improved, and all COVID positive persons after vaccination should be reported as AEFI. Sir. Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Sir, a question is, what are the official FLW, that is frontline worker category? Because some people have that. Many COVID management, for more COVID management, people are getting deputed in different departments for COVID duties, and they are claiming that they also need vaccination as frontline workers. How to address this?
Yeah, actually state has been communicating regularly, and even in GOI also. So from Government of India, whatever frontline workers have been communicated, that list stays as frontline workers. Since above 18 has recently opened up, probably now there won't be much demands which might be coming up after 1 or 2 weeks that to include them, because above 18 was not allowed till now. Many wanted to get vaccinated, particularly from the banking sector, from the say various sectors which are coming. But from Government of India, there is fixed frontline workers. So that has been communicated to all. So that list will stay unless Government of Karnataka gives a different direction or Government of India gives a different direction that these persons can be vaccinated. If you want me to list it, I can list it or show in the slide also, but it will take some time.
Yes, sir. Okay. You can list it, sir, and we can add it into your presentation and we'll host it in our website. So anyone can check it out, sir.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So is there any provision for health workers who are not vaccinated, as it is difficulty in getting appointment now? Like previously, if they have missed vaccination, now is there any other way without taking appointment?
For healthcare workers and frontline workers, there is no appointment required. Walk-in registration and vaccination is possible, but only thing is wherever vaccine is available, they can do that. That is the only thing, because there has been slight vaccine availability issues also since last few weeks. So that is the issue. But online appointment booking is not mandatory for healthcare workers and frontline workers.
And we have another question related to it. Same thing applies to medical PG students also?
Yes. All medical PG students are also considered healthcare workers.
Okay.
All students, even undergraduates also.
Yeah. Sanjay Jairam, please ask your question. Sanjay Jairam.
Right, sir. Good evening, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah, sir. Sir, I am sensitive to latex allergy, sir. For no other drugs and all. Only I am sensitive
Sensitive to, I didn't get you.
latex allergy. Latex, that is the rubber glove.
Okay, okay, latex. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I can vaccinated, sir, or is it contraindicated for me, sir?
You can get vaccinated. So, as I told, the contraindication is previous history of anaphylaxis or allergy to food products, say injections, vaccines.
Okay,
so if there was no anaphylaxis to those things, you can get vaccinated, no issues.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
So a question is, after taking vaccine, is there any effect on fertility?
No, again, this has been a rumor which is going around again and again. So there is no interaction with alcohol, I told. Again, smoking. Again, this fertility is also a rumor. So there is nothing.
Same center should be, I mean, they should go to same center for both the vaccination, or they can take
No,
in
first
different
dose
centers.
can be taken anywhere. Second dose can be taken anywhere in India. Only during the first phase, there was some restriction that in the same institution you should take, but that was removed within 2 weeks. So now the second dose can be taken anywhere in India.
Okay, if it is an international traveler, because I had this instance, they have taken in another country, but the vaccine is totally different. Like, so now they are in India. Now what they should do? And 8 weeks are passed.
Yeah, there is no official guideline at present for such persons what to do. Vaccine interchangeability is not allowed. Say if it is a Covishield or a Covaxin vaccine, if first dose has been taken and the due date has come for second dose, if it is the same vaccine can be given. Otherwise, no.
Okay. So another question regarding asthmatic patient who is on a rota inhaler with steroid. What precautions he or she needs to take?
Should take regular medication and can take the vaccine.
Okay. So there is a question. After first dose of vaccination, they have not received any message. So how to go for the second dose?
Once you see the duration, whether it's Covishield or Covaxin, Covishield after 6 to 8 weeks, you can go for the second dose, and Covaxin after 4 to 6 weeks of the first dose. So the same mobile number, you can just log into the portal, the CoWIN portal with the mobile number. You can just, you yourself can log in and download the first dose certificate also, and also schedule appointment for the second dose if you need, or just see the duration. If you're a healthcare worker, you can directly walk in the due date and get vaccinated.
So here is a question. They want to know the cost of vaccine at government. I think government, they don't charge anything.
Yes, I already told, I think it's free. 18 to 45 for state government is providing free of cost. Above 45, government of India is providing free of cost.
Okay. After the vaccination, how long a person will be protected, or how long he'll be immune?
Yeah, this we are still awaiting evidence. As time passes, only time will answer. So as further evidence comes, as of now, since around 7 to 8 months have passed, so there is evidence that there is some protection even after 6 to 8 months. So as time passes, we need to get more evidence on that.
Okay. So here a question from Ranganath sir. Can we vaccinate a foreigner?
Yes, passport is an ID, can vaccinate. If residing here, can be vaccinated.
So again, the same question, sir. That is what, sir. The mainly we are getting questions like with a very other medical condition. Like we have a question from a person who is having unilateral kidney, and he's on Visalone and Wingraft medication. So can he be taken vaccine?
Yes, yes. If there is no acute condition If there is any acute illness going on, you should consult your doctor, wait for some time and take. Otherwise, there is no contraindication for vaccination other than what I have already listed out.
Yes, sir. So are there any hand raise option, Gautam?
No, madam.
Okay. So we have few.
Dr. Rupashri,
Yes, sir.
there was a question from Dr. Ranganath. Can we vaccinate foreigners?
Yes, sir. Yes. Yes, no. It can be done, it seems, and passport can be used as the ID.
He answered.
Okay. A question from Shivraj. Migrants from northeast states working in coffee plantation, they are not having any prescribed ID. So how to take, I think.
Yeah, I have shown in one of my slides also. So Government of India has come out with an SOP for such persons, and the Government of Karnataka will come out with guidance soon. So how to cover those individuals. So soon it will be announced. So CoWIN portal has a provision made that persons without ID also can be through a cohort mobilization, they can be vaccinated. So that provision is there, but an official communication from state to districts is awaited. It will be done.
If a person is positive and after 14th day, he gets his RT-PCR negative, so can he take vaccine immediately? Or he should
wait for 4 to 8 weeks. Active infection or recovery 4 to 8 weeks, because the natural immunity will also be there. Once we have cured from COVID infection, the natural immunity will also be there. So better delay it by 4 to 8 weeks.
Okay. Question from Dr. Shobharani Hiremat. What are the preservatives used in Covishield vaccine?
Covishield, as per the vaccine insert, they claim there is no preservatives used.
So it will be from a pharmaceutical manufacturing concern. So,
yeah, the vaccine insert mentions there is no preservative.
Lalita Krishnappa, please ask your question.
I just wanted to know it was 4 to 8 weeks. Some literature says 90 days the antibodies persist after being COVID positive. So which is the ideal time? That's one thing. Second, now for Covaxin, because there is no availability of the vaccine, people are panicking because what is the maximum duration you can allow? Covishield, they told 6 to 8 weeks, your immunity will be good. But for Covaxin, that clarity is not there. Not the vaccine is available.
Yeah, so at present, there is no maximum duration as such. So as and when the vaccine becomes available, take the second dose as soon as possible. So that is it. And one more question you had was? The first question I missed.
Madam? Lalita Krishna.
Yeah. This literature says up to 90 days the antibodies persist. Okay. So which is the better call we should take this method?
So there are multiple recommendations again, as I told. So if you see the WHO position paper, it tells this vaccine dose can be taken, can be delayed for up to 6 months after active COVID infection. So the Government of India guideline is to take vaccination 4 to 8 weeks after recovery from the infection.
So Shivraj BM, he wants to know, is there any feedback questionnaire for COVID vaccine recipients? And he suggests like, it will be good if they get a reminder SMS for the second dose. And also fact check contents, he requests to be printed more in Kannada so that it can be easy to spread the message in the rural.
Yeah, that will be good. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, everybody. I request Professor M.K. Sudarshan to give the concluding remarks.
Yeah. Honorable Vice Chancellor Dr. S. Sachidananda, Speaker Dr. Lokesh Alahari, officials from RGHS, Dr. Mahendra, Dr. Rupashri, Dr. Dayanand, and a large number of audience who have joined today for this much needed e-lecture. I think Dr. Lokesh, he has been supporting the state immunization program from the WHO office from Bangalore. Right from the beginning, he has been associated with the state immunization program, COVID-19 immunization vaccination program. He has made a very detailed presentation and he has answered all the questions. I think on behalf of the university and on behalf of everybody here, I wholeheartedly congratulate and also thank you for a very wonderful lecture. Thank you, Dr. Lokesh. Thank you. And
Thank you, sir.
I think university is doing excellently well under the able leadership of Dr. S. Sachidanand, and also with the dynamic officers like Dr. Mahendra, Dr. Rupashri, Dr. Dayanand, and others. I think this series of e-lectures is being continued, and I thank the university for continuing to arrange such lectures and webinars. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Over to Dr. Mahendra, Dr. Rupashri, and Dr. Dayanand to close. Over.
Dr. Rupashri, kindly inform about the next program.
Okay, thank you, sir. And one more thing is, Lokesh sir, we have lot of requests for your presentation, and many of the participants have really appreciated and they are feeling really nice to hear from you. And I again want to remind all the participants that it will be both the entire lecture along with the question answer session will be hosted in our official RGHS YouTube link, Facebook, Twitter also. And also we'll be hosting the web presentation in our RGHS website also for further references. And I request Gautam to host the flyer for the next program. So the next program is on 14th May at 3 o'clock. The speaker is Dr. U.S. Vishal Rao. He's going to speak on the evidence mining to evaluate role of remdesivir and plasma therapy in COVID-19. So I request all to log in and. Sir, pardon, sir.
Dr. Dayanand, I request you to kindly propose the vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Over to Dayanand, sir.
On behalf of Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences, I thank our Honorable Vice.
Dayanand, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Please, sir. We had lost your voice.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir. Please, please, sir.
Yes. On behalf of Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences, I take this opportunity to thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor and Registrar for giving us an opportunity to host this program. And on behalf of the Vice Chancellor and Registrar, I thank the speaker, today's speaker, Dr. Lokesh Alahari, for his excellent talk, and where his talk was very clear on the topic, the vaccination, the third phase in Karnataka. We thank you, sir, on behalf of the officers and the Vice Chancellor and Registrar. We thank you very much, sir. And then we thank our the Chairman Task Force, Dr. M.K. Sudarshan, sir, who is present in this presentation. We thank you very much, sir. And we thank all the officers of the Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences and the technical assistants who are present in this program. And we thank all the participants who are present here in this program. Thank you, one and all.
Gautam, you can close the meeting.